Where would we be if we didn't have phones to stare at, right? Got to watch another middle school football game yesterday. It was better. My grandson's team did not get creamed like they did the week before. In fact, they tried a pass on fourth down to try to win the game with 40 seconds left. So they're a seventh grade B team, I'll just tell you. So you're talking about the not so good ones. But he's the center. He plays all the time. And but they scored and did an onside kick. And the other team was like, the coaches had never told them that on a kickoff you have to get the ball. If you don't get it, the other team can have it. So his team got the ball. It was very interesting. It's kind of like, go Beans. Okay, good morning, Post. Let's see. 105, sheesh. Are y'all as bad as me? I have personal email and I have school email just to keep them. I don't need all my bills. I don't need the people in our IT department to go look through and see what bills I'm getting in on, on my SBC email. But there's so much junk and I just don't ever delete it. What am I doing? Like there's something I'm going to save for later on that I'm going to do something with. Y'all do that? Come on. You don't get rid of email just in case you might do something with it? Yeah. Now, the one thing I would like to be able to figure out is how to keep getting all these random texts about nasty things sent to my cell phone number. Overnight, it's like, and the grammar is so bad in most of them that you know it's bad. That's your first clue that it could be spam or phishing or whatever they want to call whatever it is. It's that if the grammar is not right, it's obviously somebody in a foreign country trying to get you to open your phone up to them so they can steal your information, right? I actually haven't gotten many. Still waiting for Noodle to come in. We haven't gotten many. We normally get one or two emails about phishing things coming through the school email. So, first thing, always look at the email address. I got the classic phone call last night on my cell phone. We are calling you about an investigation from the Social Security Administration. I just started laughing. Robotic call.
I got that too.
Oh, the one that scares you the first time you get is this is the IRS. We are going to take your money from you if you do not contact us immediately. And then I started laughing. And, but the first time you hear it, you're going like, oh, what have I done wrong? Good morning. Kutsia still should be out, but everybody else is here. Cool. All right, Noodle's slowly coming in. Yeah, there they are. I need to tell you, I ran into Mr. Nolan, the former superintendent out at Newdale, at the football game last night. He was watching a great nephew play football for the same school. So he goes, what are you doing here? He always call me Miss Thomas instead of Miss Thompson. It's like, come on, Jimmy. I've known him for, 30 years. So that was my big trick when I first started teaching at Newdale was I started a rumor in one of my classes to kids to see how long it would take that I was pregnant. It took 3 days to make it to admin for him to come and ask me. I said, no, I'm not. Which is actually pretty slow, I thought. You're from Crosbyton, okay. Small towns, you know how it works. Who won their football game?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Against Monday. And I was talking yesterday, and I have this girl who's from Monday, and I had Crosbyton at the same time. I said, hey, Crosbyton, congratulations on winning your football game. And she goes, yeah, they beat Monday. And I was like, she just told me that she graduated with 14, so Crosbyton's a little bit bigger. How many did you graduate with?
I graduated like 26.
Okay. More along the lines of how I had 32 when I graduated. So I see Noodles in there, Post-its there. What we're going to do is go over the narrative outlines today. And while we're talking, one of the first things I want to talk about is formatting documents. I I'm guessing that there was an instructor, a teacher at Post that had you guys do a certain way, and that's not MLA. So I want to remind you, okay, make sure I'm in the right one, that in course content in week 1, you will find formatting a document for class that's set up for MLA. So we're going to do this very quickly, just to let you know. It's right down here, formatting documents for class. If you use this document, you do have a couple of things you need to change, but it's already got it. It's got the headings in there in the correct form, and the spacing is correct, all right? So you don't have to change that, but I'm going to have to make I hate to do this kind of boring, but just as a reminder, because, you know, I realize that 16, 17, 18-year-olds don't always pay the best attention, particularly when they're sitting on watching the TV and it's quite a distance away. All right, so where you see your name, don't leave your name there. Somebody in this class, not anybody present, put a colon after that and wrote their name on the paragraph. Don't do that. You just actually put your name in that space, okay? My name is spelled correctly, so there's no reason to misspell my name, but somebody already has. Not necessarily in this one. Make sure you change the section number to the appropriate one for your class. You guys here at SBC are 209, New Deal and Post are 444. So make sure you make that change. And then make sure you don't get to play with the date. You don't get to go 9/3/2021. It shows you that it's day, month, and you spell out at least the abbreviation of September, or whatever month it's going to be. And if you abbreviate it, you put a period. If you spell out the word September, don't put a period after it. There's no reason to. The period goes after SEPT or SEP. That's an acceptable abbreviation for September also. Put the period there. And make sure you change it to 2021 and not leave it at 2017 or somebody did 2022. So you really, when you turn in a document for an English class, you need to edit it. All right. Now, I may say some things about your narrative outlines because that's a discussion board. I'm not going to count off for spelling or however many people did little i's in place of the big I first person pronoun. A lot of people have done little i's. We really should catch those, okay? I'm not going to count off in the discussion board, but when you turn in a document for grading, like the narrative, like the paragraph, I will. Then the next thing is the title is the same size as everything else. I had somebody who blew up the words personal paragraph. There's no reason to make it bigger. It's centered on the page. It looks different already. So if you zoom out, oh, well, nobody can see that, can they? That was a little bit too small. Okay. So I can't do a happy medium here. See how you can see that it's what it is. And then we need to make sure that we indent the first line of a paragraph. Lots of people didn't. You're not writing for the STAR test, okay? Don't do that. And the only other thing that's happened is if you didn't bother to look down, there was this sentence, the document is always double-spaced, comma, in the first line of the paragraph, indents 5 spaces. I've seen that on about 10, 12 papers. You forgot to delete that off of your paragraph. I just say, oops, don't forget to delete that last line. So make sure you make those changes. This is a heads up. So that's formatting. It's in week 1. Okay, hopefully I won't ever have to say that again. But if I continue to see it, eventually I'll start taking off 10 points if you get formatting wrong, if you get the heading wrong. Okay? Alrighty. Now let's go into don't save. Alright. Got to go into the grade book real quick. Okay. Here we go. Narrative outlines. We're going to start with Pacer. That's an interesting name. I just want to say Pacer. Pacer, wave at me. Is Pacer there?
Pacer's sick.
She's not there. Of course, that's what happened. You know,
He's a boy.
somehow
He's
I
working
instinctively
from home.
can call on the person who's not in class. I don't know. I have talent. All right. So we're going to go over Pacers. Let's see what she's going to write about. I'm going to have to make this bigger. Okay. What is the source of tension? Let's see. The source of tension is going to be when I was stuck in the car with a tornado. My thesis is my favorite weather story. Now I'm wondering if it's true or not. I would ask her if she was present, but she's not. Okay. The incident should be limited in time. 30 to 45 minutes. That's really about all you get with the tornado, isn't it? The earthquake I was in lasted for 45 seconds. The devastation after it lasted a lot longer. We were fortunate that it didn't seriously affect us where we were at. But it took, this was the earthquake in Alaska in 1964 on Good Friday. It was 3 or 4 days before we could phone people in the States because the landlines broke. Or they had the underwater cables back in the days, didn't use satellites. And before families knew we survived the earthquake. It's kind of scary. A little bit different these days. Okay, what's the emotional response Pacer wants us to get? Scared and nervousness, yeah. Any of you ever dream about tornadoes? Occasionally I'll have that weather-related dream where I dream that there are tornadoes marching down Brownfield Highway towards me. I don't know why. I haven't had that one in a while, thank heavens, okay? Because aren't you guys scared of tornadoes? But, in Texas, and, if there's a tornado coming, there will be some fool standing outside in front of plate glass windows with their phone videoing it, right? Yeah. We're just kind of crazy. Heaven forbid that we miss that opportunity to send our video to somebody important, right? Let's see. So, let's see, the emotional, and so you feel like it does support the statement. So, yeah, tornadoes would be scary. You can't control Mother Nature. Mother Nature's going to win all the time. All you can do is try to protect yourself from it. And let me tell you, when there's an earthquake, there's not much you can do. Okay? Kutsia, hopefully we'll be back next week, I'm hoping. The source of tension is going to be when I help people in need like the superheroes in movies. My thesis is if I were invisible. All right, this is one of my little quirky things. You can see all those I's in there are lowercase i's. Let's make sure we're doing big I's, okay? So that the teacher knows what we're talking. The length of time is 20 to 30 minutes. That's not very long. So it's probably going to be one story about saving somebody. This sounds like it's going to be kind of fictional. If I were invisible, what you could do. See how we've got some fiction going on in there. The emotional response is happy and fear. I think it will evoke the same response in the reader, okay? Because some good people are happy to help others, but and villains trying to harm everyone. That's why people are in fear. Okay, and it does support it. And you're going to see that when it comes down to putting that grade down, you turn it in and you get 25. If you didn't turn it in, you still can. It was due Sunday night. So yesterday it was 1 day late. Today it's 2 days late. So if you get it turned in, you lose 5 points, so you can still make a 25 on it. Okay? So if you didn't get it in, turn it in. Andy is at New Deal. I've had a few other members of Andy's family, so. Let's see, what is the fear of or uncertainty of delivering a child? Labor and delivery of a child is something that women fear throughout their pregnancy, especially an unplanned one. Ooh, that sounds scary. Okay. Andy, wave at me. Are you there? Hi, Andy. Okay. Events that occurred in one day. Oh, hopefully your labor and delivery doesn't take more than a day. If it does, you got some problems. That's tough. Okay. Fear and uncertainty. I think that it will cause shock and worry. Having had 2 kids, I can speak, I'm more like pain. Okay. Yes, not knowing how much time you have left with an unplanned newborn. Yeah. Why I always find time to be with my family. That's kind of, I'm not sure what that is. Okay. All right, so Andy's going to write about that. Let's see here. So we're coming up to Briley. Briley is from Post. Hey, Briley, wave at me. Hi, Briley. I wouldn't recognize her if I saw her, but I'm trying to be nice. Let's see, Briley. Let's see. The source of tension in my essay is one memorable time my best friend and I needed each other. My thesis statement I decided to use is good friends will help you until you are unstuck. Winnie the Pooh. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, there was Mr. Radford zooming in. Okay, cool. The good news is that it's hard to even zoom in close enough to tell what people look like. I'll get to see them when I go out there. So, I head to Wellman Union this Friday, then Health Center, and then I start on. I think I'm saving Post and New Deal towards the end. Post because I have 2 sections, and New Deal because they're fairly close. So, let's see, what else we got here, Briley? Time limit is within the last year. Okay, cool. My narrative was lost and confused when my life changed, but had a best friend to help me through it. I believe that the readers will see how important a relationship what their best friend is and understand they can help others also. Most of you have a best friend? Okay, yeah. Yeah, though it's really sad when you've got that person who goes, I don't have any friends. I had one of those in the past. The same one who said when they had to write personal hero, I don't have any personal heroes. I said, well, you better come up with one because you got to write this paper. So, yeah, it's kind of sad. All right. Does the incident fully support? Yes. I've chosen because having my best friend there for me is what got me through it. All right, Briley. I'm just going to give you a heads up. I have one of my students at another school is writing about the fact that she has myasthenia gravis. Now that is you remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge for amyotrophic sclerosis, that one where they lose control of their muscles and things like that? It's a slower acting version. And I was just devastated to hear that somebody that young has that. Because I had a great aunt who had it, and she was in her 70s when it hit her. So, that's writing about tragedies are effective because it does allow the reader to connect to you more easily, but happy times are good. I have two people writing about rolling their cars or their trucks, and one of them was just in the last class. And it was, if any of you ever been to El Paso, when you go to El Paso from here, right before you get to El Paso, you have to go up a hill, and then you have to go down this steep hill to get into El Paso. She rolled it on that hill. A coyote ran out in front of her car at night. Said she wasn't harmed, and the coyote survived, but the car did not. So, kind of scary things going on. All right. Gabriel from Newdale, wave at me. Gabriel, where are you? Oh, back there on the back row where I can't see you. Okay, on the side. Okay, let's see here. We've got the first things I would do. Oh, if I lived in New Zealand, I've always wanted to go there. A place I'd like to live, yeah. Remember that you've got to use complete sentences, so watch out. It's okay on this if you didn't. I would like to go there. There's just, seems a little more untouched, more ecologically minded than the U.S., right? What emotional response? The time period would be the first week of me living in New Zealand, okay. The emotional response the narrative creates in the reader would be thrill and adventure. I think it will evoke a similar response. So this sounds kind of a little bit fictional, living in New Zealand, so that you can have some fun. It will fully support the statement I've chosen because I will be discussing what I would do in a place I would like to live, yeah. All right, way to go, Gabriel. Okay, next up we have Lauren. What do you think, Lauren? Are we going to enjoy it? Maybe. We'll see. Well, it doesn't matter if we enjoy it, so long as Ms. Thompson enjoys it, right? Because you have to remember, I'm just going to warn you, you have to remember you're writing for the teacher. And I had somebody, I think it was in this, no, not in my previous section, who wrote about the 3 jobs they would want to have. And one of them, they called it engineer, but it was actually an auto mechanic. So, but they talked about JMG. Guys, any of y'all, see, I don't know about cars. But they told me last period that there's a Japanese brand of auto parts and things, I guess, that you can do to modify your car. So think about what the reader knows. So if you're going to write about something I don't know anything about, like hunting, guns, and cars, I'm just warning you. Consider your audience. What does she know about my topic? Guns, nothing. Cars, I can go find my car in the parking lot. That's about as far. That struck you as funny, I say. It is funny. I mean, I'll sit there and go, now, what kind of car is that? I don't know. It's just not something that interests me, so I don't care. And that's okay. Detention in my essay is my father being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and cancer. Oh, my gosh, Lauren. Whoa. Where are you from, Lauren?
Dallas.
Dallas, okay. Exactly what part of Dallas?
Highland Park.
Highland Park. Oh, wow. Highland Park, okay. Mainly. I'm sure there are some less. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm not picking on you. Okay. Wow. And how that affected his parenting. That's tough. Wow. What kind of cancer? Oh, well, that's, if you're going to have one, it's not great, but it's a little bit, yeah. When my father did lose his parenting skills when he was diagnosed with MS, he became my best friend. I admire his strength and perseverance, which pushes me to be the best I can. Wow. Wow. Diagnosed in 2001, 3 months after you were born? Oh, you've never known him any other way then, have you? That's kind of interesting. but the time I am focusing on mostly is freshman year in high school in 2015. I'm sorry to hear that, but that he is still with you is awesome. Okay. That's 20 years surviving. That's awesome. Is he more, I would assume is he in remission with the multiple sclerosis or?
No, he still has it, but he's been in remission
For the cancer, okay. Okay, that's awesome, that's good. Glad, we want to hear good news, so tragedy, it is a tragedy due to his diagnosis, because he was probably, what, in his late 20s, early 30s? He was 40? Is he that much older? Are you like an afterthought baby, or?
I'm adopted.
You're adopted, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. And they did this, and all this diagnosis happened 3 months after you were adopted? Okay. Congratulations on being adopted. Okay. Yes, I do. Sadnesses and admiration, and it should be the same for your father. Yeah, I'm the reader. I'm feeling that for them. Yes, I do. My father's my hero and the person I like too much. What about your mom? More complicated relationship?
Yeah.
Well, that's because she's the one who's having to do all the physical stuff, right? Yeah, so that makes it tough. So, all right, we're up to Julius. Am I going to enjoy it? No, I'm not going to enjoy it. Okay. What is the conflict? My two childhood best friends. There are friends, there's family, and there are the friends that should become family. So, yeah, it should be enjoyable. You're going to write about two friends. Are you going to just tell me about them or tell me a story that involves them? How's that for putting you on the spot?
There's a bunch of stories.
Okay, so,
Like, you got matching tattoos.
oh, they have matching tattoos. Darn it. Let's see, what is it?
It's fair, because it's like, we all came from Covington, so they're like chieftains, so.
You all came from what? Oh, Crosbyton, the chieftains. Who are your friends over there? Do I know them?
I don't know you, Mike, Caleb Valerio and, Billy Gutierrez.
Baileyson, yeah, it sounds familiar. You know, it's been the past, so, and I forget the kids from the previous years. What can I say? Okay, so you all got tattoos before you were 18?
Yeah, when we were, seniors.
You were seniors? Okay, cool. There's nothing wrong with getting a tattoo. I don't have one, do I? Maybe? I'm not sure, somewhere. It hurts though, you know, you bleed when you get one. Okay, all right, cool. So you want to be careful that, particularly when you're writing about someone else, whether it's your personal hero, that you show me about them and don't just tell me they're my best friends because we always do things together. They're always there for me. That's the same thing. And I love them like family. That's going to be vague and boring. If you tell me a story that kind of shows all those things, it'll be much more effective. Does that help you out? Telling is not as good as showing. Showing has interaction in it, okay? The time limit. Let's go back over here and look at it. Let's see. First grade year, freshman year, and this year. So you're going to have 3 incidents that you're going to describe. That'll work. Okay. The best friends are everything. It should interest the reader because they could relate to on having a best friend that you can trust. Yeah. And yes, my 2 best friends are the people I trust the most. Cool. All right. That's an easy 25, wasn't it? Okay. Here we're up to Colton Rowan, who is from Newdale. Is Colton there? Wave at me, Colton. Colton's not at Newdale? Colton shy? Okay. Here we go.
Miss Thompson, can you hear us?
No, I couldn't, all I could hear was you. Those mics were not working.
Okay, well, Colton's in the white sweatshirt waving at you.
Oh, the white sweatshirt. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
All right, let's see. Source of attention in my essay would be what I would do if I were Elon Musk for a day. That's an interesting individual to select. As if I could be someone else for a day. She clicked and dragged accidentally. If I could be someone else for a day. Okay. Your thesis would be, if I could be someone else for a day, I would choose to be Elon Musk. That is, and then the narrative is going to be why you would choose him. What is there about him? So, now did he go up on his space flight? Didn't he have one? Is he one of the ones that had the space flights right before school started? 'Cause you had Bezos and his group, and then you had Musk and, yeah, cool. Let's see, the length of time of my essay is a day, okay. The narrative creates intrigue in me as the writer since it is a thought-provoking exercise. I believe it will draw a similar response in the reader. He's also a little bit odd, not Colton, but Elon Musk, okay, is a little bit different. And he's not married to that singer, but they have a child, don't they? Yeah. She's kind of one of those odd singers off in the nether areas of music. Okay. I would choose to be Elon Musk, and what I would do as him. Okay. I might decide to go to space. Okay. All right. Sounds interesting. Let's see. Liliana Tillery. The source of tension is when I realized my parents started to treat me differently. My thesis statement is when I realized I'm not a kid anymore. Okay, just realize that that's not a statement. When I realized I'm not a kid anymore is a dependent clause. You have to have when I realized I'm not a kid anymore, comma, this happened. You have to have something after that. Okay, Lillian? Let's see. It will be about a small offense that occurred over a month. Okay. An emotional response. The emotional response for me would be sadness and awareness. For the reader, I hope it will help them realize more than they do about growing up. Yeah. Sometimes it bites, doesn't it? I don't know. Being a kid was a lot easier. Let's see. And the incident fully supports the statement I've chosen, the feeling of, let's see, of when I realize that things have changed and when I realize I'm not a kid anymore. That's kind of implies that it's going to be a bit negative, right? Something happened and now they're not going to baby you anymore. That's tough. Okay. All right. Next up. We have Cameron. Cameron's from Post. Cameron, wave at me. Hi. I can see her waving. No, wave back. Okay. Trying to establish a relationship. Hey, when I come to see you, I'll bring donuts. So that's the good news. Remember, you guys don't get donuts because I see you twice a week. I will only see them in person once in the semester. Cameron, let's see. What is the source of conflict? The conflict in my story is when my sister, who is also my best friend, had to move 7,000 miles away. All right, so be careful. Your thesis statement says, my sister is my best friend and the person I can go to for anything. All right, so I'm just saying, if she's 7,000 miles away, you can't go to her anymore, right? So make sure that you might need to evolve your thesis statement a little bit, because if you're going to focus on her move, it might have to change. The length of time is 1 year. Let's see. It creates an emotional response of loneliness and the feeling of being dreary. I think people that have lost touch with a family member can relate to my essay. My brother lives about 5 minutes away from me, and I see him once a year. His wife doesn't like me. So I don't understand why. I'm so nice. That's sarcasm. I know I can be a bit much. Okay, let's see. Yes, because the feeling of my sister never being around creates a lonesome feeling. Yeah, it would. If they were your best friend, sure does. I hope you Skype at least, if nothing else. Let's see. Jaden Carroll. Jaden Carroll's from Post also. Jaden, wave at me. Is Jaden waving? It almost looks like Post and New Deal are sitting, because those two, see the two people there, how they're, right, where the screen splits between those two schools. It looks like they're sitting next to each other, doesn't it? Cool. Interesting things happening. Okay. The source of conflict in my essay is my dad being tough, aren't they? My thesis is my dad has taught me some various things in my life, including how to work hard and care for others. As I was sitting at I'm going to call it junior high. It's hard for me to say middle school football game yesterday. I could hear all the dads hollering at their sons, "Get the ball!" You know, you're just like, it's kind of funny in a way, because those kids can't hear them. You know, they're so pumped full of adrenaline and stink smell because they're 7th grade boys that, you know. Remember how you smelled in the 7th grade? Girls didn't smell that way in the 7th grade. Okay. The incident's limited in time. Let's see, the length of time is 17 years. So, Jaden, gotta be careful, to remember to show and not just tell, okay? Gratitude, that's awesome. This might be an essay that after you get it back, don't show them the graded one, but show them a clean version of it. I would say if you're writing about somebody, and let them read it so that they know how you feel about them. I don't have any problems with that. Just don't show them the graded essay, because I'm not grading the person you're writing about, I'm grading your writing. There's a difference. And it does, yes, support. Okay. Okay, we're up to Antonio Romero. Antonio is from New Deal, I believe. Yeah. Antonio, are you there? Yeah. I don't like how they split the tables up. It's hard to see everybody. But that's not my classroom. I don't get to teach in it anymore.
He's waving at you in the front.
Okay. He's got to make sure I can see his hands, though, okay? All right, the source of tension. Living up to my family and my brother's expectations. A wedding is fun and relaxing. That is, if you're not the best man. That's a little bit different, isn't it? So, so apparently you were best man at a wedding for one of your brothers? Yes? And so you have certain things to do when you're the best man, I guess. Okay. Trying to think about how many Romeros I've taught from there. Quite a few. Maybe I know them. The incident, it's from July to September 11th. Is that when the wedding was? On September 11th, this past Saturday? Wow. The emotional response will create for me is a sense of wanting myself to have more courage. I hope the reader feels the same, but I think the narrative will bring more nervousness, like how I was feeling during the midst of the story. Okay? And the thing is, I just want to point out, at your age, you're going to write better about things you know, to be honest. So when you try to write fiction, it becomes a little more difficult. So if you're making up a story, it's harder to do, because you have to create the world, too. Whereas when you're writing from your personal experience, at least you have background information that you can write from. Does that make sense? So you have to be careful with a narrative that's going outside of your experience. Okay, let's see. And yes, all right. Okay, let's see. Matthew. See, Matthew's from Post. All right. The conflict in my essay is me choosing where to go to college. Matthew Stevens saying this, I can't decide where to go to college. That works. So maybe what you're going to have to figure out in your essay is, what are you looking for in a college? What do you want? If you type in party school, you'll probably get a lot of answers on that. So maybe decide what you want to major with your life in. The incident, the length of time is the past few months. Yeah, you're a senior, which I'm going with the notion everybody posts is a senior. The New Deal kids are juniors. You got to start deciding now, particularly if you want to apply for scholarships. Okay. By the way, there is study abroad virtually this semester if you guys are interested in it. With SPC, it's virtual with Ireland. So if you're interested, just type in study abroad on the main search page for SPC. I don't know how well you guys could do it, but that you guys can do that. We are starting the study abroad program where eventually you can travel to the countries with faculty and stuff like that, okay? It just made me think of it, because he was trying to decide where he wanted to go to college. Let's see. Confliction. I think it will draw a vote. Confliction. It should be conflicted. Confliction. I don't know if I've ever heard conflict done that way. Conflict is a noun on its own. Confliction is just another noun. So, does the incident? Yes. Okay. We'll see, Matthew, while you figure it out. Okay. Haley Lopez. Let's see. From Post. All right. The source of tension is going to be how nervous I was. My thesis is my first job. Okay, again, a thesis has to be a complete sentence. My first job was a real hard experience because, give me a reason, all right? So tell me about what happened in your job. The length of time my essay is going to be an hour into my first shift ever. Let's see. So, she's from Post. So there are a variety of places you can work in Post. More so than in New Deal. In New Deal, you probably have to come into Lubbock to work. So, let's see. The emotional response is scared and nerve-wracking. I think it will evoke a similar response to my readers on their first day of work at their new job. I do have somebody else writing about their first day at work. So that's interesting. Somebody wrote a paragraph about working at the Dairy Queen, so I think it was somebody from Abernathy. So, because they have Dairy Queen in Abernathy. They have one in Crosbyton?
They used to.
Used to, but it's closed, okay. All right, I don't have anybody from Idlewild, so I can't write about the one there. Does the incident fully support? Yes, the incident does fully support the statement, okay. First day at work, that should work as a narrative. We have Marty. Marty is from Post. The source of tension in my essay is the memorable I took with my cousins who make me the happiest person I can be. My thesis statement is, as I watched all of us pack our luggage into the vehicles, I knew all the fun was about to begin and that so many memories were about to be made. Okay. Well, you have all in there twice, so be careful. We don't want unhelpful repetition. As I watched all of us pack our luggage into the vehicles. The only issue I've got with that is that you're talking about packing your luggage into the vehicles. The focus may need to be more on the trip and less on packing the car in your thesis, okay? Do y'all see what I'm talking about there? It's like that topic sentence in the paragraph. Somebody wrote about, I have a great family, and the second sentence was, I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers, and they wrote about the sisters and they wrote about the brothers, and then they wrote about their mother. And I said, but it's not in first or second sentence, so you can't. It's okay in the first sentence, but the second sentence says you're only going to talk about your sibs. So that's why I'm saying maybe you need to focus on the trip you took, and then use this as maybe the first part. I could tell we were going to have a great time as we packed the car. Are you with me on that? Almost 2 weeks. Oh, I want to know where you went. Where did you go? That's what's missing, right? Do we want to know where they went? I mean, it could be lots of places. Let's see. Emotional response. This creates neutral emotions. It creates both happiness and sadness amongst me, but for the most part it makes me happy. So that's not neutral. Neutral is no emotion. And yes, I think it will show readers that family means a lot and that they're not always around, so we need to make the most of our time we have with them. Yeah. And yes. Okay. I look forward. I just want to know where you're going now. Y'all with me? I need to know where you're headed. All right. Macy. Macy's from Post. I remember that because her dad is my facilitator, so her last name sticks in my brain. Okay. Let's see. The conflict in the essay is my wedding day, which is not, sorry. What did I just do? Which does not go smoothly. I'm assuming you're not married, Macy, so this might be a little bit of fiction. Possibly, Macy, right? Is Macy married? Mr. Rathburn, you're going to have to email me and let me know. Where is she? Fiction? Are we writing fiction, Macy? Oh, look at her. She's embarrassed. Oh, both of them. The cameras are on us. Okay. Is it, just nod your head. Is it fiction? Okay, that's good to know, because that would be something your dad had not told me in an email. And we communicate a lot, Mr. Rathburn and I do, all the time. We lots of emails between the two of us, okay? More so than some of my other schools. But we had a lot to deal with last year. Okay. What statement? Could anything else go wrong? I actually got a narrative for this summer in summer school from an SBC student about everything that went wrong on her wedding. So I'll look forward to this. Length of time in the essay is 1 day. The narrative creates a frustrated and humorous emotional response. And yeah, it should evoke it. Does this incident? Yes. So she's going for humor, I believe. Let's see, we're up to Jacob. Jacob is from New Deal, I'm guessing, because I've had other training. Okay. I can match up. I've taught schools enough that I know brothers and sisters, so when you write about your brothers and sisters, I know who you're talking about. Okay? That sounds strange for a college professor to say that, doesn't it? Or your friends at school. Jacob's gonna write about, I have chosen the influences my dad has given me as my thesis. The source of conflicts are the times, all right, guys, you cannot say me and my dad. You have to say, my dad and I go ride horses. You don't say me, you go ride horses, do you? See, you gotta be, and I've seen that repeatedly, not just from Jacob, I've seen it in my other classes. It's not me and my family, me and my dad, it's gotta be my dad and I. You always put the other person first before yourself. That's considered the polite way to do it, right? But you go ride horses together, okay, cool. The time of my essay will be 10 to 15-minute stories on our rides and how they influence me. So, several rides, I would hope. Okay. The emotional response can be scary, suspenseful, and action-packed fun. P-A-C-K-E-D. Pact is an agreement, P-A-C-T. And it should do that. Okay. The incident should explain the ways I've been influenced by my dad. Okay. Dads are pretty special. Moms are pretty special, too. Girls and their moms have different relationships than girls and their dads. And it goes same for boys and their dads and boys and their moms. And it just works that way. Alexandra, Villarreal. Alexandra is from, oh, here. I was sitting there going, yeah, sorry, Alex. I was going, wait, there's not one on the list, so that means she has to be SBC. All right, Alex, let's see. She's like, oh, darn, she got to mine. The conflict of my essay is my first wreck. It's a good thing to write about. It's horrible to say. The statement is how it affected me after. Were you hurt?
No, but my boyfriend.
Your boyfriend was? So were you driving?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that makes it even worse because you hurt your boyfriend. Okay. How about your car?
It was cold, but it blew up. Yeah, it caught on fire.
It caught on fire. Okay, this is going to be a good story to read. And that was your boyfriend wasn't badly hurt.
No, he had fractured his back though.
Fractured his back. Oh, so do you have to wear one of those braces? Did they put that halo thing around his head? Oh, that's good.
Just a back brace.
Just a back brace. Okay. And this happened how long ago?
Last December.
Last December. Oh, was it because of weather or?
No, just driving early in the morning.
Driving early in the morning? Okay. Well, one of my students in the earlier class was texting and driving when the car rolled, avoiding the coyote on the way to El Paso. So it's good you weren't texting and driving. Okay. All right. The length of time is going to be within that day and a few months after, because the effects of it, would stay on, wouldn't they? The emotional response that my story creates is faith, and yes, I think it will evoke that response. So God was good. Y'all survived, right? But it blew up. It exploded.
Yeah, it blew up. Well, it started catching on fire while we were still in it, but we rolled over, so we landed upside down.
How many times did you roll?
But we hit a ditch, so we flew actually, and then we rolled.
This is going to be okay. So, did you hear say they hit a ditch and they flipped near and they rolled several times? Okay, all right. I'm just hoping it's that exciting when you write it. Okay, but we know that you both survived. So it didn't involve any other cars.
No.
Okay. Yes. Okay. This should be interesting. What can I say? I like stuff that's interesting. Don't you guys? All right. We're up to Kristen Tidwell. Tidwell is from Newdale. No? Post. Sorry, Kristen. Wave at me, Kristen. Oh, okay. I can just see the hand out the corner of the screen way over there. Somebody's pointing in the back, and then there's a little hand. All right. You just wait till I come to post and meet you guys, okay? What is the conflict? The conflict in my essay is my grandfather being hospitalized and eventually passing away suddenly. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. The statement I've chosen for my thesis is I have learned to never take the time I have with people for granted. Yeah. My thesis is inspired by a quote from Anne Frank, which reads, "Dead people receive more flowers than the living ones because regret is stronger than gratitude." That's effective, isn't it? We regret that we didn't do it while they were alive. Okay. What is the length of time? The length of time is from July 18 to August, so he was less than a month. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of my husband having a stroke. So we're much better off today than we were 2 years ago, I'll just tell you. Okay. Let's see. I become very sad and regretful when thinking about that time in my life. I think that the reader will also have a similar response because my narrative has a very strong message surrounding gratitude and regret. Okay. Interesting, I look forward to reading that. I'm sorry that you had to go through suffering the loss of such a family member. That's always difficult. Gloria Lee Martinez, that's a pretty name, isn't it? Gloria Lee. From New Deal. Gloria Lee, are you there? She's hiding from me. Okay, I'm going with the notion she's there. Oh, I see a hand, thank you. All right. The source of conflict is, I chose the influences of my brother and how I look up to him for my thesis. My source of conflict is how my brother would always teach me about sports and benefiting me. Yeah, my brother made me play sports when I was young. That's why I was so good. All right. The incident should be, okay. Be sure and give us your brother's name at some point in time. Remember, if you're writing about somebody else or they're involved in it, names are better than just saying, my brother did this, my brother did that, okay? Or your friends. Let's see. It's going to take around 10 to 17 years. I'm assuming he's older than you then. Let's see. The emotional response will be heartfelt and supportive. I think it will make the reader feel how the writer felt. Okay. That's really what we ask. And yes, I believe that the incident will support my choice. I look forward to hearing about your brother. Okay. Let's see. We're up to Kale. Are you ready?
I wrote mine out.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, so I have to look at the image. Okay, let's see, can I blow this up? I can live with this, okay? I included tension in my narrative by explaining how I almost lost my pop. Now, is pop grandfather or father? Yeah, because back in the 60s and 70s, you could call your dad Pop. That was a dad name, but now it's not, so it becomes granddad. Okay. Ever since I was a baby, I have always looked up to my Pop. I wanted to be him and everything he stands for. Okay. How nice. Is he still alive?
Yes.
Okay, so, again, let him read it. Not the graded one, okay? The length of time of narrative is based on 1 day per night. So you're just going to reveal one story about him. Okay, that'll work. Let's see, my incident should incite sadness initially, but after happiness and relief. I think that the reader will feel the same way I do. So it has to do with something happening to him and then how he survived it. Okay, surgery or heart attack or, okay. I'm going since it's a grandpa. It's either that or going to be a stroke. And my incident does support my statement. Cool. All right, sounds good, Kim. I'm looking forward to it. I loved my grandfather. I only knew one. My father's father died at 50. He had a heart attack at the supper table. He didn't marry until he was in his 40s. So, whereas my mother's father, Grandpa Dub, was around. He was missing a finger. He got caught in a lawnmower, but he'd make up all these stories about how he lost it. So, but he lived to be quite old. All right, so we're at 9:44. I'm probably just going to stop there. On Thursday, we are going to look at, make sure you have access to, with computers, access to the textbook, because we're going to look at the professional reading. It says go over introductions and conclusions, but we did that last Thursday. So we're going to look at that the narrative in there that's loose place. It's a good one. We're going to look at those questions and kind of see how writing evolves in a narrative. And then we'll also do some review. I've been trying to find some extra stuff to help with fused run-on sentences and comma splices, okay? So that's what we're going to do on Thursday. And then you have a draft due of the narrative. Let me make sure. I believe it is Sunday night. And we'll do peer revision. Turn in draft and narrative by midnight. Yeah, that's Sunday. Okay? So, huh?
Have you posted it yet?
Yeah, it's already in there. When you go into Blackboard, it should already be in there. It's a place to turn the draft in.
Oh, okay.
Is all it.
Popped up on like my
Well,
phone.
let's go. Let me go look in there. Somehow I got, let me open up the one I'm already in. Let's go over to course content. Let me find it. Going to week 3. And it's probably one of those, make it a little bit smaller. See how, remember when you go, let me push the right buttons, okay. So you take grammar quiz on Friday, and then turn in draft and narrative by midnight. So, oh look, it's right there, turn in draft right here.
Oh, okay, I didn't look, I was looking at week 2.
It's in week 3. So that's why when you're looking, like when you look to take the grammar quiz and you can see it's in there, it's hidden until Friday morning. It opens up at 8 a.m. I actually rewrote this quiz. It was, before you were having to correct sentences and make them fix the errors, and I thought, oh, that takes too long for me to grade. It took me 15 minutes to turn the test into a true-false test. You put true if there's no grammatical error, false if there is. I was gonna have you tell me what the error was, but it wouldn't let me do that. So
Miss Thompson?
I guess I could have done multiple choice and said, A, the error is a comma slash, B, the error is a fuse run-on, C is nothing, D is nothing, and say only select between A and B. I could have done that, but I didn't. That's a consideration
Miss
I might have to go
Thompson?
back and change. All right, so that's what's coming up on Friday. You have that, and then turn in draft of narrative. Make sure that you do it as a Word document, a PDF, or a RTF, and you will need copies. There it is. I've got this big thing to submit it in. See, write submission. Do not write your submission. Do it in a Word document to begin with. Okay? Save it as narrative draft and upload it. It doesn't hurt to put your name on it too. All right? So that's coming up, and that'll be due by midnight. And don't push me on time. So go. Huh? On Sunday night. I just think it gives you more time, because Fridays are busy at the schools. You got pep rallies and you got football games. Just think about anything else. Come on. Come on.
Your
You know what I'm
conference is
saying?
scheduled to end in
That's just
2
how it is.
minutes.
And I'm not knocking it, that's just how it is. So, that's why doing the test, for you guys, you've got all day, they should be taking them during class times. Okay. Okay. Inseparable is an odd word, because you're talking about the two of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It brought you closer together.
Yeah.
Okay. Family and friends, and us now, okay.
We were together for like 2 months before it even happened.
So, that, all that did was increase the relationship. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay. Be careful about saying my life flashed before my eyes last December. That's a cliche. And I'll be honest, I totaled my car one time driving out to New Deal,
Mhm.
and we had a flash freeze at like about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm only going 10 miles an hour, and I hit my brakes at the Armory on the interstate, and my car spins out of control towards the guardrail, and I
Mhm.
thought, I'm gonna die. I didn't have enough time to have it flash. I'd lived too long that much yet. Okay, so we don't need 3 sentences in a thesis. You just
Oh,
need
okay.
to say, the accident that occurred with my boyfriend tested my faith and has made me more grateful. You see how I put those 2 sentences,
Yeah.
and see how that's more effective as a thesis.
Mm-hmm.
So, whereas here, you've got 3 sentences, you don't need, and that's a cliche. So you just need to say, the accident that occurred with my boyfriend, what was that? Tested
Your
my faith
conference is now
and,
over.
made me more
Goodbye.
grateful to be alive. And see how that becomes effective.
Yeah.
So you just have to bring out those 2 things in what you write, okay? I'll look forward to it. All right, Alex? What's his name?
Esther.
Be sure you give me his name in the paper. Because that's the one thing that gets forgotten.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to have to ping you and say, you didn't ever tell me his name. If you love him, why don't I get his name? You know that. Oh, you're welcome. I'll look forward to reading it. Whew. I'm just glad everything was, that's the scary thing when you hear about the wrecks that kids have. You're just like, ah! I hope nobody gets hurt and that kind of thing. Bye.